identify myself as a Black woman.
I identify myself as a Asian female and runner.
I identify myself as a Honduran person and as a Latino.
A part of me is Puerto Rican, I have a Latino side, part of me is Italian, German, Dutch, so more than just being white.
I identify myself as an African American immigrant.
I will identify myself as Chinese, female, human.
I identify myself as African American, a Nigerian.
I would identify myself as a humanist and a critical thinker.
I identify myself as a Peruvian and a leader.
I would identify as a Black female, a writer, and a hard worker.
I am a woman. I am the child of a single parent. I'm Korean American. I'm an equestrian. I'm a pole vaulter.
I identify myself mostly as a non-binary person, as not female or male. I also identify as asexual, but mostly I use they, them pronouns, and I'm Alex. I'm Alex, like, yeah.
I identify myself as a Caucasian Jewish American.
I identify myself as Kenyan on a large part, but I also identify myself as African American because I was born here and I've lived here for a majority of my life.
I think a large part of my identity is a member of the LGBT community.
I think on a surface level, people probably identify me as white. And really, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just a little bit further from what I think is what really makes up who I am. I think that people who get to know me on a more personal level get to know that I do love my Latino side, I love my Italian side. It's a huge part of who I am, and it's a huge part of what I've grown up with and also come to know as I've grown up.
I think people don't treat my identity with respect because sometimes we see like some discrimination because we are Latinos and we can feel it and everybody can see it too, so like with actions and discrimination against us.
I think initially when people see me, they do see I'm a Black female, but once they get to know me, they see that I'm passionate about social justice, helping people, and writing, especially about my experiences with racism and being a Black female and trying to empower others.
For my Peruvian side, people just assume that I'm Mexican, and so they just, and because I look Hispanic, because I am Latino, they just think that I am an immigrant. They assume that when they hear me speak Spanish with my family, they wonder why I should speak Spanish in this country and I should be speaking English, and that's not true.
Currently, yes, but when I first came to America and started learning English, not really. Because I didn't fit into the classroom because I didn't know how to communicate. They kind of thought of me as an outsider.
I think that some people assume that I act a certain way or I talk a certain way, I like certain type of things because I'm a Black woman. And I think that they don't know me as a person and they don't know the other side of me. They just see me as what they think a Black woman is.
I tell people that I'm Korean American, and sometimes people just don't even believe me because I look pretty white as I probably could look, and they literally just tell me like, no, you're lying. No, I'm not lying. I'm half Korean.
I think people identify me as a carefree person, and what that means is they think of me as someone who cares about them, someone who will listen to them, but I'm not someone who is harsh or critical of them.
I think it would take for them getting to know me. I think that mostly people just identify me on how they see me, which most of the time would just be as Black or as African American. But I don't think people necessarily identify me as Kenyan unless they know me or unless I tell them that I'm Kenyan.
I know when I talk to people, they have a certain expectation of people based off of one trait of their identity, such as sexual orientation or gender. But I think it's quite unfair to judge people or make those predictions about someone based off of so little information.
Oh, heck no. People see me all the time as female, as a girl, and I hate it, but what are you gonna do about it? I feel as if it could be mentioned somewhere in the school or something because a lot of people just don't know it exists. Like, a lot of people don't know that the two categories can be other. Or they think it's a joke, or people who do it are special snowflakes, or people who do it are crazy, mentally deluded, or like something like that. Or if I mention it to other students, it feels like it just wouldn't be the same. They just wouldn't respect me as they used to. That's why I don't mention it to people very much.
What would it mean to you if you were unconditionally accepted by everyone?
It would mean a lot.
I accept you. No, this
We all accept you.
Yeah, we
Thank
all
you.
accept you.
Yeah, I know you might not hear it a whole lot. I accept you.
Today, students at Mount Hebron High and other high schools joined a walkout in protest in the middle of the day to show their disgust. Parents eventually joined the protest as well. It led to impromptu discussions about race relations in Howard County. Some Mount Hebron students told us they are concerned about racial tensions there.
So basically there was a racist rant that was posted online. People felt like we didn't want this to be swept under the rug. So we decided that this wasn't just one issue that pertained to the school. Racist things were happening around different schools all the time. So we organized a demonstration to stand up to the tolerance of racism and discrimination in the school systems. So we organized a walkout at Mount Hebron, and it was about an hour and 30 minutes long. We got community members to come. We had people walk out after third period, and it started out with me kind of explaining why we were there, and then I opened the mic for students to talk about their issues and experiences of discrimination and kind of demand different changes that they wanted to see in the school system.
I encouraged everyone I could to go out there. It was a great experience. The people that came up were speaking from the heart. They were speaking from true experiences and true stories and things that happen, things that are part of their reality. And when you hear those testimonies, when you hear those stories, it brings something out in you it's just something you gotta feel for yourself.
I have no words to describe it and whenever somebody asks me this question, like, oh, how did you feel during the walkout? I'm always like, I can't even put words to it. It was so empowering. You see a community come together as we tell each other all these different things that are probably so hurtful, so saddening, and so upsetting, but we are willing to come out and tell each other these things. And so I just felt one with the community.
And listening to different people speak from the heart was just so empowering. It's a day that I'm never going to forget.
The walkout was powerful because a lot of things that happened to me in the past were unnoticed, and I'd go home and complain about it or talk to people that go through the same things that I do. But this was a chance to share my story, and then it was amazing how some people that didn't prepare anything to speak just felt it in themselves to say something that day. And then also people who had been ignorant in the past texted me saying, oh, I never knew you felt this way. I want to be more understanding, educate me. So it was really an eye-opening experience for a lot of people, and it was refreshing for me.
Some of my friends were saying, oh no, don't go to the walkout, it's stupid, it's not going to do anything, they're just overreacting. It's not an overreaction. You can't overreact about racism. That's crap. It's not that simple. People dumbing it down makes me so angry.
The walkout was something that I chose to observe from inside the school, and in some ways I do regret that because I think that the impact that the walkout had was just tremendous.
It wasn't until the walkout last year that I realized that there was other people in the school that felt the same way that I did. And it wasn't until I started hearing people talk about their own stories that I realized I wasn't alone. And I felt more comfortable then, and I felt like I could go to these organizations and go to these people and talk to them and they'd understand. And it was crazy because I'd been going to school with these people and I had no idea that they felt the same way. And it made me feel more comfortable with myself.
Everything together was overwhelming. It was joy, happiness, excitement, and to see people that we've affected from all over the country. And to see that the Washington Post covered it and different news outlets covered it. It gives you a sense of accomplishment and achievement that just makes you want to keep pushing on, keep going forward, and make sure that you keep doing what you know is already working.
Well, my goal is, right now it's mostly students that go to Mount Hebron High School, but we want to expand it to other Howard County students. We want to expand it outside of Mount Hebron because these issues of discrimination and racism don't just happen in one school, it's all around the county. So we want people to work together and expand this movement.
Each school has a different demographic, and each group of students needs to be able to tap into that demographic and know the different movements that could be happening in different areas of the county. And it's really important that you get groups of students that can get involved with that and really help out.
Dream Team has gone to panels, Board of Education meetings to talk about the changes that we want in the school with the curriculum, cultural proficiency training, and conversations in classrooms. We've tried to engage people within our school and ask them how they feel about these things, have conversations, and also areas for conversations so people can talk about their experiences.
We want to thank our administration because we've been able to work with them and develop our group. It's not something that's been just shunned away. We're not just looking away from the group, but they've acknowledged us as something.
I would say thank you because they're really doing their best to listen to what the student body has to say and what changes we want.
My favorite part about Hebron is that if you want to, you can start something. It's very easy to start up a club. It's very easy to get word out about something. So if you think there's something that needs to be talked about, it can be talked about.
True change requires a disruption of the norm. Things aren't going to get done if we all just sit back and wait for someone else to do it. We have to step out on the front lines. We have to be willing to say have these uncomfortable conversations and be able to go out there and participate in group discussion, participate in these panels that may be occurring in the future, or participate in anything that allows us to have a platform. I know social media was a big part of the walkout, and we started the hashtag Stop the Silence, Start a Conversation. And that became so big that it was recognized at Twitter HQ. All I gotta say is just don't sit back and let things happen. You gotta go out there and show for yourself.
Dream Team has also really pushed for a cultural assembly because our school has been lacking one in the past, and we want to showcase the different cultures.
Because I feel like I'm really involved in a lot of things that many people wouldn't be because of how different they are. But in Hebron, I feel like I'm able to put all that aside and just be involved in whatever I want to be involved in and whatever I'm passionate about.
I think that Mount Hebron is an incredibly diverse school, and we come from an incredibly diverse community. I know that this year, I think, was the first year that Mount Hebron was a minority-majority school, and we have people who come from all different backgrounds. I've had such a great experience making friends who are from countries that practice Islam, from people who are from Africa, people who are from Asia, and we just have so many different influences.
Like, if you can celebrate that, take every opportunity that you can, because that is one of the most wonderful things that a lot of people don't have the opportunity to do.
I am Hebron.
I am Hebron.
I am Hebron.
Yo soy Hebron.
I am Hebron.
I am Hebron.
I am Hebron.
我是 Hebron 的一员。
I am Hebron.
I am Hebron.
Yo soy Hebron.
I am Hebron.
I am Hebron.
I am Hebron.
Mimi ni shule yangu, Hebron.
I am Hebron.
I am Hebron.
I am Hebron.